So let's study placental function. So function of placenta is metabolic function, and that is it is carbohydrate, protein, fat, and other nutrients to fetus. Endocrine function for production of hormones and transfer of substrate to fetus and exchange of gases. Then metabolic function is glucose. So glucose, it is the main source of energy for fetus. Fetus depend on for glucose for mother, and this transfer is done by GLUT1 and 3 receptor. Fetal placenta also stores glycogen as reserve for fetus. So main enzyme for forming this glycogen in placenta is glycogenin. Then fatty acid, it is also used by fetus as source of energy and substrate to form cholesterol. Metals like this are broken down by lipase and fasciated and transferred to fetus. And some cholesterol is also stored in the placenta as a storage form. Then amino acid used by fetus for growth. Then placental protein production is 1.5 gram per day, and it in first trimester, and it is maximum in trimester by 7.5 gram per day. And waste product produced by fetus, lactase transferred placenta to the mother. Then endocrine function, hormones produced by placenta are steroids, 3 steroid hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and corticosteroid. Different peptide hormones, HCG, HPL, CRH, and all these. Then HCG. So main site of production of hormones is syncytial, which is known as hormone receptor placenta. So it is a glycoprotein hormone and peptide, that is, and it has maximum carbohydrate content. It has two subunits, alpha and beta. So alpha unit is located in 6 chromosome, and it is non-specific. That is, alpha unit of these all hormones is same, LH, FSH, and TSH. It will be used later on. Remember this. Beta subunit is located on chromosome 19. It is specific to HCG. That's why it is called beta HCG. So in pregnancy test, we can measure beta HCG in serum or urine, and we measure the beta unit. So HCG is morphologically similar to all these, LH, FSH, TSH, and but functionally similar to LH. So in IVF, we don't use LH as ovulation trigger. LH surge causes ovulation, but in IVF we use beta HCG injection for the ovulation trigger. Okay, and HCG secretion begins in the pre-implantation embryo. That is before the blastocyst implants in the endometrium. The HCG secretion begins even before that. HCG can be detected earliest in serum by 8 days after fertilization. That is, so this is the day 14 in which there was fertilization. This is day 28. So after 8 days, that is day 22. So usually the female comes to OPD that she missed her period on the day 28. That is what we call missed period. Then we suggest her urine pregnancy test, so to measure the beta HCG levels to check if she is pregnant or not. But we can even confirm pregnancy if we check beta HCG on day 22. Then most sensitive test for to detect HCG is serum. We can use urine pregnancy test also, but serum test is most sensitive. Okay. Then on the day of missed period, female is 4 weeks pregnant, because we count pregnancy from day 1 of the LMP, and by then the HCG in serum will be 200 and in urine will be 50. So UPT. So it is a qualitative test, less sensitive to compare serum. It can detect 20 to 50 milli international units of beta HCG, but the serum can even detect 1 to 2 milli international units. So as early as 2 to 3 days after fertilization, we can detect the pregnancy by serum beta HCG levels. And this UPT is a sandwich ELISA test. It can detect pregnancy as early as on the day of the missed period. If negative, this UPT is repeated after 1 week to be sure that her missed period is due to pregnancy, not some other cause. Then as pregnant advances, the HCG levels doubles every 48 hours. If in a viable intrauterine pregnancy, there will be an increase in 32 to 65% in levels of HCG every 48 hours, not less 100%. Maximum levels will be seen at 10 weeks and minimum levels in 16 weeks. That means the beta HCG doubles for a certain duration, that is up to 10 weeks, then it starts decreasing, and its minimum at 16 weeks. After that, it stabilizes at that lower level. So T of beta HCG is 36 hours. It is not equal to double time, which is 48 hours. So serum HCG testing or UPT is relevant only for first trimester, because it increases up to only 10 weeks. After it starts decreasing. So this applied effect of this is that day 1 to day 3, if HCG level increases by 32 to 60%, that means it is the viable uterine pregnancy. If the HCG level increasing but they are not increasing by this percent, that means it is called slow rise, which indicates ectopic pregnancy. Day 1 to day 3, if the HCG levels start decreasing, that means the fetus is dying or it is a non-viable intrauterine life. So what can be the cause of increased higher than expected HCG levels? It can be wrong dates, that is underestimated dates. That patient tells she is 4 weeks of pregnant according to the LMP that she told, but she is instead 6 weeks pregnant and she remembered the wrong LMP. Then multi-fetal pregnancy, there's more than one fetus, so the HCG produces more. In Rh negative pregnancy, there is hysteroblast fetulosis, there is placentomegaly because the fetus has anemia and the cardiac output increased, and due to that there is placentomegaly because the amount of blood in fetus is less, so the placental tissue is increased to cope up for the oxygen transport. So the placenta size is more, so the HCG is increased. Then in molar pregnancy or carcinoma of the placenta, the thing that we have to remember is Down syndrome is the only trisomy where HCG levels are higher. In all other trisomy, the HCG levels low. So what can be the causes of low HCG level? The wrong dates. That female told you that she is 8 weeks pregnant according to her remembered LMP, but she is indeed 6 weeks pregnant and she remembered the rolling MP. So you were measuring levels according to 8 weeks, but the levels will be found of 6 weeks. So the levels are not decreased, but the female remembered the wrong LMP. Abortion can be cause of low levels. Ectopic pregnancy can be low levels. In ectopic pregnancy, we see slow rise in beta HCG level. That if we repeat beta HCG after 48 hours, then functions of HCG is similar to LH function wise. So it maintains corpus luteum in pregnancy, and it is like in females the LH maintains the corpus luteum for menstrual cycle, but the HCG maintains corpus luteum in pregnancy. And in males, LH, the formation of the testosterone here. So for fetus, the first limitation for testosterone release is Leydig cells, in which is this HCG. Then placental GNR stimulates HCG production. Corpus luteum of non-pregnant female is maintained by LH, but every month corpus luteum is formed and undergoes luteolysis when the LH level decreases. But when the female becomes pregnant, when the LH decreases, there is no luteolysis because HCG takes the function of the LH and keeps the corpus luteum alive. So it is preventing luteolysis. So hormone that maintains corpus luteum pregnancy, HCG, and it can be also as hormone which prevent luteolysis, it is also HCG. Then comes to HPL, human placental lactogen. So it may sound like lactogen, but it has nothing to do with the breastfeeding. You can remember human placental lactogen as like hormonal milk for fetus. That means this is just for nutrition of the fetus. This hormone just provides nutrition to the fetus. This is the only work of this HPL. Other name is human chronic somatomamotrophin. It is placental growth hormone. Synthesized by syncytial trophoblast type. It is a single polypeptide chain, structurally similar to growth hormone because it is a placental growth hormone. So you can remember it is structurally similar to growth hormone. Then it is a marker for placental function. It is detected early by 3 weeks of pregnancy and then continuously keep increasing. So if it does not keep increasing, that means the placental growth is decreased. Its peak says 36 weeks, T half is 20-30 minutes, production rate is 1 gram per day. It produces maximally at term. The hormone which produces maximally at term is HPL. Then maximum as we seen in, like the HCG was same in all these, maternal plasma, amniotic fluid, or fetal blood, but HPL is maximum is maternal plasma, then less than that is in amniotic fluid, and then less than that in fetal blood. Then comes to function of the HPL. So you remember that it is just providing nutrition. The only role function it has is to provide nutrition to the fetus, that is glucose. So it produces insulin resistance in female so that her blood glucose levels increase and more glucose from blood is transported to fetal blood via placenta. Then it promotes lipolysis in mother so that the more energy, more sugar, more like gluconeogenesis is promoted in mother so that the fetus can get more nature. This is also angiogenic in nature. So HPL sounds like lactogen, but it's a no role in breastfeeding. So insulin resistance in pregnancy is continuously increases as the gestation increases and maximum 24 weeks, which leads to gestational diabetes of maternal gestational diabetes. and best time to test for gestational diabetes of mother is 24 to 28 weeks. Insulin resistance is mainly due to HPL. Others can also cause insulin resistance, but you have to remember this: HCG does not causes insulin resistance because the only role of HCG is like LH. Then what happens in fasting? Well, in fasting there is maternal hypoglycemia because the glucose is transferred to the fetus, but mother not eating something. So you should tell the pregnant female that they should avoid doing fast because not only there they will get hypoglycemic, but the fetus will also get hypoglycemic. Okay, but in postprandial state, but they will become hypoglycemic because the HPL has caused insulin resistance in them. Then comes to IGF or insulin-like growth factor. So placenta produces IGF-1, 2 and IGF binding protein. So IGF-2 acts by binding to IGF-1 and then leads to fetal growth. Okay, main hormone leading to fetal growth is IGF. Main hormone leading to placental growth is the HPL. Then another hormone is corticotropin releasing hormone. So if the mother is in stress condition, anything, then there will be release of metal glucoside which have negative feedback on the maternal hypothalamus to decrease the maternal CRH. That is the corticotropin releasing hormone. So the corticotropin releasing hormone comes to the adrenal cortex and causes release of glucocorticoids. But if the mother is in stress, that means the adrenal of mother will release glucocorticoids, then they will negatively feedback the hypothalamus to decrease the CRH release. But these metal glucose will pass through placenta and enter fetus, and there they give positive feedback to the placental CRH. So if the placental CRH increases throughout gestation but is bound to CRH binding protein, but what happens at the term, the CRH binding protein amounts are decreasing. So the placental CRH become free and it activates the fetal HP axis, which leads to start of labor. So it is one of the stimulation to start the labor. So this is how this placental CRH is like a placental clock. That means it tells the fetus that it is time to go out. Then if the mother is stressed like anxiety, depression, then the placental CRH can lead to preterm labor also. Then vascular endothelial growth factor and placental growth factor. So both are produced by villus trophoblast. VAGF is angiogenesis is first trimester, and then placental is angiogenesis is third trimester. But both of them are countered by soluble FMT like tyrosine. But is the soluble FMT bind to VGF and PLGF2, then prevents agenesis and inhibits their vasodilatory effect of both of them. Okay, so normally there is balance between these VGF, PLGF and SMT. But what happens in preeclampsia is the SMT is increased, so the angiogenesis decrease and the vasodilatation decrease and the vasoconstriction effect is increased, which leads to preeclampsia. And SMT, so we can use this SMT like as a predictor for preeclampsia. Then there is estrogen. So placenta cannot synthesize estrogen on its own using maternal precursors like for other hormone because it lacks 7-alpha hydroxylase enzyme, and this enzyme is required to form the C19 steroid. But the fetal adults produce DHES, which is also a C19 steroid. So the placenta uses this as the C19 steroid to form the estrogen, and it requires 3 enzymes to use this DHES, which are sulfatase, 3-HSD and aromatase. So estrogen plays an important role in initiating uterine contraction, like this IGF CRH told the CRH is like placental clock. Estrogen also plays a role in initiating uterine contraction. So at the term, production of estrogen increases with the corresponding increase in estrogen receptor, and in anencephaly, there is no head, so no hypothalamus, so no adrenal cortex stimulation, so no DHEA, no estrogen, the uterine contraction is delayed, so the pregnancy's duration is increased, which lead to postpartum pregnancy. Then condition which cause increased estrogen are erythropoiesis fetus because it will cause placentomegaly, and more the placenta size, more the estrogen is produced. Then maternal androgen producing tumor, that the mother has some tumor which is producing more estrogen. Then condition with decreased estrogen, intrauterine fetal demise, that the fetal is dying, anencephaly, placental lacking this enzyme, and Down syndrome. Then placental aromatase deficiency. What happens is if the estrogen decrease, there will be postpartum labor, because the aromatase is required to convert androgen to estrogens. Then, and aromatase if decreasing, also the female will complain of maternal hirsutism. That is, she will complain that since the pregnancy started, she is getting hairs in the areas of genital areas and other male-like hair pattern. Then progesterone. So progesterone is placenta will produce progesterone using mother's LDL cholesterol. Unlike it cannot synthesize estrogen, but placenta can synthesize progesterone using substrate from mother. It begins at 8 weeks, and before 8 weeks, corpus luteum was being managed by the HCG, but now after 8 weeks, it takes over and it manages the corpus luteum. Its roles is smooth muscle relaxant so that the fetus is not expelled out. Then for onset of labor, decreased progesterone is required because it is a smooth muscle relaxant and it prevents expulsion of fetus. So for onset, we have to decrease effect of progesterone, but we don't decrease the level of progesterone, we decrease the number of receptor, and we have to increase estrogen, and for that we increase level of estrogen and also receptor of estrogens. Then functional withdrawal, this is called functional withdrawal of progesterone is, that is, we are not decreasing the level but the receptor number. So if a female is at risk of preterm labor, we have to give prophylactic progesterone, which will cause smooth menstruation and prevent expulsion of fetus. Then during pregnancy, if the fetal progesterone decrease, there is increased uterine quantity and replacement of conceptors, which is abortion. Then luteal phase defect, that is decreased levels of progesterone in early pregnancy, which can lead to abortion by this expulsion, and management of that is progesterone.